Hi, I'm Stuart. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome back. Thanks for viewing my video. In this video, I'm going to do the Childhood Books Project. I watched a video by Kelly at Bookseller Not Reading where she did this, and I watched a video by Pat at Book Chat with Pat where she did this, per Kelly. Hello, Booktube. In honor of Easter weekend, I'm participating in sort of a community tag where we all post a video about books we loved as a child. This was created by Paul at the Accidental Bookseller, and here's his announcement video. And I'll hopefully remember to include a link to the video. What books did you love as a child? Do you still have any of them? Share with me your stories in the comment section about if you had different phases of dipping in and out of children's books. Did you become a parent, a teacher, a librarian, or like me, a bookseller? I'd love to hear your experiences. If you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment, you can always leave an emoji. Maybe a bunny or an Easter-themed emoji. Or give this video a thumbs up. It means so much to me. And I'll try to remember to include Kelly's video and Pat's video. I'm going to list a lot of books, so I'm not really going to say much of anything about them. I'm mostly just going to list them. The first books I remember reading are the Hardy Boys series by Franklin Dixon. Don't remember too many details at all, just remember reading a lot of them and enjoying them. Everybody knows now that Franklin Dixon was a pen name. It was just a bunch of writers writing under the name Franklin Dixon for the company that published the books. Not too long ago, I discovered a pop-up book, and it was gifted to me by my grandfather. It was inscribed inside. He had died in 1968, so he gave it to me at some point before that. I hadn't remembered pop-up books until I saw that book. It is a book of the Rex Harrison Dr. Doolittle movie. I looked for it. I just couldn't find it. I still have it. I have a lot of clutter, especially related to books, but I didn't remember pop-up books until I found this book, but pop-up books would be something I read before the Hardy Boys, and I do remember loving them. They're still kind of cool even as an adult, just the concept of pop-up books. Junior high school time, I started to read a lot of science fiction books. My initial authors were H.G. Wells and Jules Verne. I'm pretty sure I borrowed the books from the library. Books I read were The Time Machine by H.G. Wells, War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells, The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne, Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne, Journey to the Center of the Earth by Jules Verne. And that book also was called Journey to the Interior of the Earth. I consider Jules Verne more like a science speculative as opposed to science fiction. But I love both those authors, those books that I read. Oh, and another book I read is The Island of Dr. Moreau by H.G. Wells. Some of those books I've read more than once, including into recent times. My favorite author of the time, my favorite sci-fi author, was Isaac Asimov. I remember his Foundation and Empire, and Second Foundation, and I, Robot. I remember the laws of robotics, although as is typical with laws like that, the authors always find ways to get around them, but I know I read more, but remember those books specifically. Well, I remember reading them. I don't remember really the details. Remember finally The Martian Chronicles by Ray Bradbury, a book that I reread not too long ago, and despite some of it being dated, I did quite enjoy it. I also read some books by Frank Herbert. I read Dune Messiah, and Children of Dune. First 3 books in the Dune series. I did later read the 4th, but I looked at the date and it was beyond my childhood. Actually, It was beyond my college, if I recall correctly. I think it was 1982. Did stop the series after 4, not sure why. Really like those books. And they still stand to this time because I'm pretty sure there's like a new Dune movie coming out in the not distant future. Guess they divided up in a series. I'm not sure. I haven't seen any of them. I read 2001: A Space Odyssey by Arthur C. Clarke. An author I'm pretty sure I read as a child, and to me I'm including a child, grammar school, junior high, and into high school even. I read a fair amount of Agatha Christie, a fair amount of Poirot books, and I specifically remember Murder on the Orient Express. I'm not positive I read it as a child, but I think I must have read some Agatha Christie books as a child. Now, part of this sort of tag is, did you become a parent, a teacher, a librarian, or like me, a bookseller? That's Kelly, who was a bookseller. I didn't become any of those. But I do dip in and out with children's books still. So I'm just going to mention some that I've read fairly recently that I liked or loved. I recently read some of the books from the Goosebumps series by R.L. Stine. I read around 6 of them. One of them I thought was just okay, but the other ones I liked a lot. Wasn't crazy about some of the endings, but I really liked the books. I thought they were pretty effective horror. Even read as an adult. I've read a fair amount of books in the Nancy Drew Dyer series by Carolyn Keene. Around 25 books in the series. Like Franklin Dixon, Carolyn Keene is a pen name. People would know that now, of course, because the original, if there was a Carolyn Keene who wrote the first book, she long since passed away, but it is just, they still come out under the name Carolyn Keene. Those are just nice books, around 100 pages, quite enjoyable books, kind of like, just like something to different a little bit to read every so often. I will read more too. There are more books than the 25 or so that I've read. I'm not sure what they're up to right now, but there are more. I read 3 books in the Bad Guy series by Aaron Blabey. Quite amusing, quite enjoyable books, graphic novels. And there was a movie, I think, of the first book. I don't know if there's been any more. I did not see the movie. One standalone book I really liked is The Year of the Dog by Grace Lin. I do read a lot of YA novels. I'm not going to mention them here. There's a lot of them. And they are, when you look at things broadly, YA novels are children's books, teens I suppose, but still directed toward children. Although there's a lot of concern by people that they're really not directed to children anymore. They're really marketed and directed to adults. But we'll just say that YA novels, at least ideally, are directed to teens. Neither Kelly nor Pat tagged anyone, so I'm not going to do so either. I would be interested if you'd like to let me know in my comments any books from your youth you really remember fondly, or if you want to do a video of your own. If you do that, please tag me so I can watch it. Long time ago, so I don't remember the details of my childhood quite as well as some people remember theirs, but some very enjoyable and memorable books from my childhood. If you can't think of anything else to comment, please add a book emoji or a book stack emoji, or an emoji of your choice. I hope you're having a wonderful reading week. I hope you're having a wonderful week in general. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, please subscribe. Please hit the bell to get notified when I upload future videos.